Hello everyone, this is Miss Farmer and I'm here to walk you through the next steps on our face drawing adventure. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue kind of doing the work that we did with the portrait of Beyonce, as well as the picture of Lin-Manuel Miranda, who was the guy that was on the back of this sheet. And what we're going to do is we're going to do it with our own celebrity. So what I have right now is these are white paint markers. You guys are going to use the pastel markers on this. I have my eraser and my pencils. I have my ruler. And then I have my larger paper because we're not going to draw this on small paper. Your paper is actually longer than or wider than mine, but we're going to draw this on larger size paper. But we need to figure out the shapes. So I decided to do Simone Biles because she's awesome and she's killing it right now. And she's Olympic bound. I have like drawings that I started in here. Or is that, oh, I know what that is. Sorry. This is what you get when you're drawing from Miss Farmer's home. So she's an Olympian. She's kind of awesome right now. But what we're going to do is we're going to divide her face up into segments just like we did with Beyonce so we could see the shapes. And then we could try to mimic them larger on the larger paper. Okay? But we got to know what shapes we're dealing with. So you guys are going to do this in pastel pencil, which puts you at an advantage because you can erase pastel pencil. This is paint marker. So once I make a shape, I'm kind of stuck with it. So you'll see that I have multiple copies. Some copies are not as good. So don't judge when you see a pink copy show up, because the pink copy is because I either screwed up or because I can't erase anything. I need to show what a step looks like, okay? So let's start by the first thing that we have to do is we have to decide on the circle part of her face. Remember, we did a circle part of her head, and then we did her jawline, okay? So if you look at Beyonce, we did the circle part, and then we went down and did the jawline. So we have to do the circle part. And remember that we're doing the whole head and not just the hairline, not just the face. We're doing her whole head. So her whole head, I'm gonna practice my circle. That's kind of her whole head, right? All right. So the other part that we need to do is her jaw. Now, she has kind of a wide jaw, and especially now because she's smiling, but not all of this is jaw. Because she's a gymnast and she's muscular, she has a little bit of a wider neck, but her jaw comes down this way and comes down this way. And it's not very angular because she's smiling, but it's normally actually, she's really got a strong jaw or a strong chin. Okay, so because she's leaning her head a little bit sideways and because she's smiling and she's got kind of like a tight neckline on, it distorts the face a little bit, but we're gonna go with that because that's the picture that we have. Now, here's the next thing that we have to do. So remember, we came up with the head shape. We need to figure out what's center. Now, I can't go straight up and down because her face is not going straight up and down. So I have to tilt a little bit. And this is my ruler. And I'm gonna kind of guesstimate. And this is where the center of her face is. Right? And it should have gone kind of close to the middle of the nose. I'm a little off, okay? And then the other line is the halfway point. And on this one, the halfway point is through her eyes. And again, because she's tilting her head, I'm not going to go straight across because then that makes her look like she's cross-eyed. She's not. So we're going to go straight across. All right, so what I kind of have is I have her head shape, I have her jaw, and I kind of have her crosshairs. I'm going to scooch this over when I make it in the sketchbook. So we're going to come over here with the sketchbook. I'm going to move Simone a little bit. And now what I'm gonna try to do is mimic those same shapes. So let me pull a piece of paper out. This paper is a little different from the paper that you guys have. This paper is a little smoother. And the pencils that I have are actually bright, pretty dark, because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. First of all, let me stand up and make sure that you can see my paper. Excellent. All right, so her face is tilted a little bit this way. So when I make my circle, I want to keep in mind that her face is going to be a little bit tilted. So whatever size I make my circle is going to be, the jaw's going to have to match it. So I'm going to make a circle. And the reason we do this in pencil is because if we screw it up, then we can come back and redo it. How's my circle looking? It's looking a little lopsided, but is it lopsided because she's gonna be lopsided, or is it lopsided because it's lopsided? Oh, it's lopsided because it's lopsided. Let's fix it a little bit. See if that helps a little. I think that helps a little bit. All right, let's get her jawline. And it doesn't go really low. She has a jaw, but her jaw's not super low. And this side was a little sharper because of where it was. And that edge is a little softer. All right, what do you guys think? I think that might be a good starting place. Now, if I go through here with the ruler and I find out, oh, the head is super lopsided, like I think I'm gonna find out, we can come back and we can fix it. This is why we do things in pencil and not pen. All right, and so I wanna put my guidelines on here. And remember, she measured the lady that we followed in the tutorial. So let's put the first guideline in, and then let's measure. And we want the second guideline to be about half. So we kind of eyeballed it. It's a little better than I did on the original. I'm actually using centimeters simply because it's going to be easier for me to divide into centimeters. And it's 11 because there's 22 centimeters in here. And I'm going to, half of 22 is 11. So we're gonna put it at the 11 mark. If I was trying to just do inches, it would be 8.5 inches. So then I would do, see, 8.5 inches. So then I would do 4 1/4, like right here, same place. And then we're gonna go across. But remember, we're not gonna go across, straight across, because her face isn't straight in this picture. All right, let's see what we have. We have the circle and we have our jaw. We have our circle, we have our jaw. And then we have our place where the eye line would be and the place down the middle for her nose. Let's get the eraser out and erase some of these guidelines, especially the ones where, like, I know that head is crooked. And remember, we're gonna erase the bottom part of the circle. So now we have the shape of her head. And eventually we're gonna draw ears and all the features, but we're going to start by measuring. Remember, we measured before. All right, so we're back to Simone's picture, and we need a place for her eyebrows. And we're gonna do the top of her eyebrows, or the center of her eyebrows, right? So we had a place for her eyebrows. We had a place for her smile. Now she's smiling, which is gonna raise that up a little bit, but it's also the same amount of crooked as her eyes and her eyebrows are. So because her smile, even though she's smiling, still makes it kind of the same amount of crooked. So we're gonna put her smile line here. All right. And remember, we need to divide her head up into fifths so we can know where the eyeballs go. Remember that? Let's start by giving her a smile. Now, here's the thing you notice about the smile. On this, I'm not necessarily going to measure just because I know a little cheat. And the cheat is that the smile is right below the circle on this. And even though we erased, we can still see a little bit of where the circle is. So we're going to put her smile like right there. All right. And we're going to put the eyebrows a little bit above proportionately. Okay. So we're looking to see where her eyebrows are and her eyes. I think that should be enough. Let's go with it. All right, so now I need to figure out, this is where her eyes are. And remember, we need to have 5 lengths, right? We need to divide it into fifths or into 5. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my ruler, and it's a little bit more than 15 centimeters. I went with centimeters again, so let's see what the inches are. It's a little bit more than 6 inches. So I'm going to say that it's going to be easier for me to do centimeters on this one. And it's 15 and I need to divide it by 5. Well, 15 and a half. So I need like 3 and a little bit more than 3. 3 and a little bit more than 3. 3 and a little bit more than 3. A little bit more than 3. A little bit more than 3, and that ends up being a little bit more than 3. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections, and we drew 4 hash marks. I got a hash mark here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. So this is roughly where her eyes are going to go. And I'm gonna pull out one of my pink ones. Okay, so her eyes are open, but it's really hard to see her pupils because she's smiling. So we're gonna make sure that we take care of that in our shape, right? So we still wanna go with the basic shape. And remember, our basic shape was up, over, and down, like square, kind of squared off footballs. Now remember that these shapes are suggestions. And when I look at her eyes and how she is smiling, her eyes are definitely giving less space up here. Okay. So she's definitely giving less space underneath and more space on top. And it's a little bit of an angle. All right. That's a little better. Now, the next step was eyebrows. And her eyebrows need to start at the same place as her eyes. We're gonna make a little perpendicular line here and a line here, and that's gonna help us also with the nose. So that means her eyebrows are gonna start, and she has eyebrows that go across and then come down. So they have a little bit of arch. They go up a little bit and then go down. So we're gonna give her eyebrows that go up a little bit and then come down. And they're thick eyebrows. I'm gonna pull it out a little bit more before we come down. All right, so she has eyebrows. All right, and we need to draw her nose. So we know that she's smiling, right? And it's going halfway through. So I'm gonna bring her nose up here a little bit. Now, let's look at the shape of her nose. I'm gonna come here. Hi, it's the pink copy. So we have a circle here. Hope you can see that. And we have a circle here and a circle here. Let me get a different marker. Okay. So her nose is a little bit wider than Beyonce's and the woman that we drew a little bit earlier. So we have to keep that in mind as we make our circles, because her nose, if you look at lines, her nose goes past where her eye line is. Okay, so we have to keep that in mind when we make our circles. So my question is, did I make that first circle big enough? And I don't think that I did. So we're gonna make it just a tiny bit bigger, not much. And then we have our two circles on the sides that go out a little bit from all right, and let's do her smile. Now, because she's smiling, her top lip is smaller than it would normally be. And let's take a look. How far out does her smile come? So if we're kind of going through the guide, her smile is coming to the edges of her eyes. So it's really just thinking about the proportions and where things are beginning and ending and stuff like that to help us draw our person. All right. And comes down this way. And looking at lip shape. And we'll draw in teeth later. All right. So now we need to fix the eyes because we kind of left off with the eyes. Remember, I still need to give her creases. I need to give her water lines. Although with this picture, you can't really see them because of how the picture's taken. But because she's smiling, she has wrinkles and shadow under here. And I don't want to make it look like bags because it's not bags. It's wrinkles and shadow because her eyes are scrunching up a little bit. All right, let's give her okay, so we need to make sure that the irises are about the same size. pupils are facing the right direction and that they're both the same size. All right. Now when we start adding color, her eyes are almost completely, hers are like mine, where they're super, super dark brown. They're brown, but you can barely tell in pictures. All right, and then we have eyelashes, right? Remember we said before, we kind of just because this one's not super detailed yet. When you guys draw yourselves, you're gonna be super detailed. And we'll come in and do some more detail there. All right, let's get her nose. Remember that the whole purpose for drawing the 3 circles was to be able to draw nostrils. And we have some nostrils for her. And then we need a bridge to her nose. And remember, the bridge to your nose kind of feeds into your eyebrows. And in this picture, you can actually see it here and here. And when we start shading, we'll shade that. All right, and when you smile, you have smile lines. I promise it won't stay like this. That's making her look like the Joker. All right, let's get an eraser and let's erase some lines. All right, so we have a couple of things that we forgot. One thing that we forgot is her hairline. She's got her hair braided back. So we're gonna put her hairline like up here. And she has a hairline that kind of and we'll hide behind her ears. It's not perfectly round. Hairlines aren't perfectly round. All right, and right now it looks like Simone Biles is wearing a skull cap. She is not, I promise. All right, I'm gonna use the little edge of my eraser to erase some more lines. All right, so I'm gonna draw in some details. In her smile, you can see all the way up to the top of her teeth. She's got a great smile, but we're not gonna draw in teeth like chiclets. It doesn't look cute. So we're gonna kind of draw the gum line for her a little bit. Because somebody paid a lot of money for her to get braces. Okay. bottoms of her teeth. What you see there is shadow, and what you're going to see back here is shadow. Okay, so this smile line isn't going to be a hard line. It's going to be more of a shadow. So let's get some shadowing in here, and we're going to blend it a little bit instead of having it be hard lines. And let's look under here. She has a little bit of a shadow under here where she's smiling. So let's give her a little bit of a shadow where she's smiling. And we don't want solid lines where her nose is. We want to turn that into shading. So I'm going to erase this down a little bit. And I'm going to make lighter lines so I can blend them. And we don't want to blend into the middle because the middle is highlighted. And if you don't know what that means, ask a girl sitting next to you who does her makeup. All right, let's continue working. I think I have her bottom part of her eyes a little bit too high, because she's definitely scrunching in her smile. Because if you don't notice, that's a gold medal. So she's a little excited about her gold medal. I don't blame her. I would be excited too. I'm excited for her. I'm gonna erase a little bit of this. Remember, we said her eyes are dark. So I'm gonna color her eyes in as dark as I can without making it look weird. And if you notice, I'm using cross hatching. And instead of like coloring it really dark and heavy, I'm just going to color it in a lot of layers so that the color is a little bit more even. Now here's the thing about coloring eyes. Your eyes have shadows, right? So she's going to have some shadowing over here and definitely over here, right? And remember, we talked about eyelashes, and because she's competing, she's not wearing like false eyelashes. So we're gonna kind of give it a little. And we're gonna do the same thing over here. We're gonna shade it a little bit, and we're gonna shade it here, and that's her tear duct. She has all right, and we're going to draw in we're going to use short strokes on her eyebrows. So up and over, and then short strokes. We're going to come back in and fix that a little bit. remember we have her smiling. That gives her a little bit of a smile line, and it doesn't start in the corners. It starts kind of here. It's more of a shade than it is a hard line. And same thing here. It's more of a shade. It's more shady than it is a hard line. All right, and give her smile lines over here. I might have gone a little overboard. Let's give her a smile line here and a little bit of a shadow here. All right, and then we can continue adding shadows and darkness to that. All right, so the next thing we need to do is we need to give her her hair. And she's been competing, so her hair is a little bit messy, but we have her braided up. And one of the things that I'm going to teach you guys this week is to look at hair texture, because we have a lot of people who are, we've drawn people with straight hair, and Simone Biles' hair is kind of straight, but right now it's straight with cornrows. So we want to make sure that we don't cheat her hair on the cornrows. So a hairline is rarely a sharp line. So in this case, Simone Biles' hairline is not a sharp line because she's got her hair pulled back into a ponytail. So we're going to do this with the hairline for a little bit, just to make sure that it's not super tight, and this with the hairline. And then we need to braid her hair. So one trick that I've learned with braiding is to do like almost like little parentheses. Make one longer than the other, and then follow it up with a parenthesis, another one, and they kind of overlap each other a little bit. And the braid is gonna go past her hairline because it stands out from her hairline. And in this case, I'm going to erase this and try again because it gets bigger. So it starts off small and it gets larger and larger. And it's going to be like that. And then we're going to do that over here. And like Miss Farmer, that looks like a donut or something. So now we need to add our little lines in here to appear like it's braided. And we can play more with that with shading and stuff. Okay, so like it's going to be darker over on the sides because braids have shine. And then her hair leads into the braids. This direction and this direction. And that's why we have parts. So her parts on this side are going to go toward the braid. And on this side are going to go toward the braid. And it's going to do the same thing on this side. everything goes toward the braid. Okay, and she also has kind of a ponytail going on in the back. So we're going to create a bow. She definitely has some bows going on. And I'm just looking at the picture and I'm kind of gauging it from the picture. And I'm not going to get it perfect because guess what, guys? I'm learning to draw just like some of you are. And when I look through portfolios, some of you are much better artists than I am. It was amazing. I was super excited. So everybody is on a different place in their learning how to draw journey and learning how to create art journey. Everybody has different strengths and different weaknesses. It's all okay. All right, so now I'm gonna kind of draw out the shape of her ponytail because she's been competing. So I think it started out as like a bun. And by the time she gets this picture and she has her gold medal, it's not quite a bun anymore. It has lost its shape a little bit, but guess what? She has a gold medal and she is smiling because of it. All right. And like I said, we'll come back and talk about hair textures later and how to get hair textures to kind of do their thing. But right now, we're just kind of getting things to go in the right directions. So now we know it needs to go like toward the back because she's got this side pulled into a ponytail. And we need to give her ears. Her ears start above her eyes. And we can see, and they come down. That's a little long, Miss Farmer. That's a lot of ear. I think we need to move her ear down. That's better. And we have a little shadow here. And here. And then we're going to do it again over here. And you can actually see a different kind of part of her ear over here. Whoa, that's a lot though. I'm doing too much. Okay, and she has small earrings here and some shading there. And we have, folks, a very sketchy person or sketchy sketch of Simone Biles. It's not perfect, but at least it looks like a human female. Like, it's a starting point, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to try that same kind of process with your celebrity. Oh, she doesn't have a neck. That's problematic because her neck definitely has a medal around it. And I would feel some type of way if you all did not, if the fact that my neck was wearing a silver medal or a gold medal wasn't actually honored. So it comes out this way. And around her neck, she has some rhinestones. And she has a gold medal lying across her neck. rid of some of the guidelines. And we have a gold medalist. All right. So let's see what you guys can do with your sketches. Just use the guidelines that we used, that we studied in your notebook or in your sketchbook, and that you studied with your assignment from Beyonce and Lin-Manuel Miranda yesterday, so that you can come up with your celebrity drawing. This is practice, although I am going to look at these and give you guys feedback. This is practice, and what we're eventually going to do is you're eventually going to get a mirror and you're going to draw yourselves. Okay? And so we're going to have a sketch based on your identity. So, all right. Great luck, everyone. I know that you can do it, and I can't wait to see the art that you create. Bye.